TE.
I got a taste for one with the juice. I want the orange that turns and loose. We got a thirst for something cool and light. All we need is mandarin orange slice. With 10% juice, we got the juice. It's the #1 twist. We got the taste, all the one mix. We got the juice. Diet too. Diet.
You are watching WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. All today's news with Mike Walcher, Debbie Ely. Dr. Walt Lyons has weather. Tom Hanneman has sports. And now, this is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. Anoka County fire officials are still searching for answers to a blaze that killed 2 Lino Lakes children this morning.
The children who died were half-brothers, and their mother had left them to go to the store when the fire broke out. 18-month-old Sean Blaylock and his 3-year-old brother Luke Cook spent last night in a pickup camper set on blocks behind their grandfather's Lino Lakes home. Shortly after 8 this morning, the boys' mother left them to run an errand. A neighbor spotted smoke and flames and called for help. But the boys were killed before the fire department could arrive.
There has been an indication that candles were in the topper, and that the topper also contained matches. Whether or not the candles were lit, I do not know, or whether or not the matches were available to the children, I do not know.
Investigators say there was no electricity, no heat in the camper, despite last night's freezing temperatures. They are puzzled by what could have started the fire. Family members say the mother and the boys were sleeping in that camper because there wasn't enough room in the grandfather's home nearby. A 3-alarm fire in North Minneapolis lit up the skies overnight. The blaze broke out at Concord buildings early this morning. Lumber and other building materials fueled this fire. It took 3 engine companies and 2 ladder trucks to douse the flames. Fire investigators don't know what caused the blaze, but they figure it did about $100,000 in damage.
Federal and state officials are saying that arson is a growing problem in Minnesota. And tonight, WCCO Television News has learned that a new task force is being formed to put the heat on the people who set fires for profit. Federal authorities will work with state fire officials to try to catch more arsonists. Far from being a victimless crime, arson is pushing up insurance rates for all of us. Terry Cedar reports on the problem and its proposed solution.
Really hot down there, and I'm kind of concerned.
One of the most frightening things about arson is that the people who set the fires usually escape punishment. As few as 10% of arson investigations lead to convictions, and the torches, as arsonists are called, are striking more often.
Arsonists don't leave notes there. Much of the evidence is destroyed in the fire.
Federal agent Pete Maston is paid to track down arsonists, and he's still looking for the torch that planted gasoline bombs inside this Stillwater restaurant. The fire was put out once, then when federal agents were about to go inside to investigate, more firebombs exploded.
Those devices could have killed whoever went in that building.
Well, they could have, yes. It fully enveloped the building in a matter of 30 to 45 seconds.
Arson injures and kills. 4 firefighters were hurt trying to snuff out this blaze at a Bloomington bowling alley last March. Investigators suspect arson but have made no arrests. In January of 1985, 2 firemen died near Sauk Center when a nightclub roof collapsed during a blaze set by an arsonist. An arsonist federal agents tracked down. A woman who signed a deal to buy the restaurant couldn't come up with the cash and was sentenced to 15 years in prison for trying to burn her way out of the deal. Fires are often started for profit. It's called insurance fraud. Failing businesses are sometimes torched so the owners can collect insurance money to pay off debts. Other people overinsure their property and then burn it to make money.
People don't consider it a terrible crime because they think it hurts nobody but the insurance company, but unfortunately it hurts everybody because our insurance rates, everybody's insurance rates, go up because of it.
When the new arson task force is formed, one of its chief targets will be people who get paid to start fires. Torchers are professionals who usually collect 10% of the insurance payoff for their crime. And authorities hope by flooding an arson scene with state and federal investigators, they can find clues that might normally be missed. Clues that will help put arsonists behind bars. Terry Sater, WCCO Television News.
An arsonist can be sentenced to life in prison if someone is injured or killed because of a deliberately set fire. Still no answer as to how a 21-year-old man ended up along the east bank of the Mississippi River near Emerald Street. A passerby found his body late this afternoon. The investigation goes on into his death, though one police officer speculates the victim fell off a nearby bluff. Divers pulled the body of a St. Paul man from Moore Lake in Fridley this morning. 25-year-old Stephen Skoglin and 3 friends had been taking a pre-dawn canoe ride when the vessel tipped over. Rescuers dragged the waters, managing to find the body about 3.5 hours later. 2 of Skoglin's companions, Brian Carpenter and Ren Hassel of Minneapolis, were able to swim to safety. A third, Jerome Haas of St. Paul, latched onto a buoy in the middle of the lake and hung on till the Fridley Fire Rescue boat could get him. Mike?
We should know tomorrow whether Chicago's longest teachers' strike is over. That's when the teachers' union votes on a new proposal. It provides a pay raise and reduces some classes' size. Chicago union and city leaders praise the offer.
All in all, it's been a torturous, rough, tough process. But the bottom line is, one, there's been an agreement. Students will be attending class on Tuesday.
This is a good first step toward restoring professionalism and quality education.
The teachers have been on strike for 4 weeks now. If they vote to end it, they'll return to their classrooms on Monday, and 500,000 students should be back on Tuesday. President Reagan is fighting for his man for the Supreme Court, charging that special interest liberals are trying to intimidate judges by dumping Robert Bork's nomination.
These special interests are gravely concerned that Judge Bork's appointment will mean a Supreme Court that practices judicial restraint as our forefathers intended. And that's why the nomination of Judge Bork, a distinguished jurist, has become a distorted, unseemly political campaign.
But a Bork opponent, Senator Alan Cranston, says both sides in the fight have made it a political campaign. The Senate Judiciary Committee set to vote on Tuesday.
Vice President George Bush is running a a damage control operation tonight, hoping to take the political sting out of some comments that he made in Brussels yesterday.
Soviets had an operation recently where they had 350 tanks and never had a mechanical breakdown. That's what I learned that was new. And you might say, what's the significance of that? And as I told him in there, hey, when the mechanics that keep those tanks running run out of work in the Soviet Union, send them to Detroit, because we could use that kind of ability.
Well, that raised the hackles of the United Auto Workers Union in Detroit, who demanded an apology. Bush, who needs votes in the Michigan caucus in January, took it all back.
What I thought I was trying to be funny, and obviously it didn't work very well. And if I offended anybody, I'm very, very sorry, because I didn't intend to. I'm one who has great respect for the way our automotive people have moved forward in quality.
Bush is back in Washington tonight after 9 days in Europe. Still ahead, California puts a price tag on that big earthquake that rumbled through on Thursday.
And coming up next, Prince's Paisley Park holds a video VIP party amid the latest video and audio equipment.
Mufflers Plus, Auto Images, Trusty Transmission, Modine, Cartronics, Aber Auto Body, all imports, Firestone, Jiffy Lube, Amoco, Auto Mall.
For 43 years, Aunt Mert has kept a secret.
I'm not telling.
A secret recipe for cinnamon rolls.
Wild horses couldn't drag it out of me.
But Cub Foods thought a little incentive might change your mind.
My lips are sealed. First, you take 2 eggs.
Cub Foods, the only place to get Aunt Mert's cinnamon rolls. Sweet, delicious, and a little gooey. Made fresh daily, like everything else, at the in-store bakery at Cub Foods.
Look, I'm only human.
This new rock music, I mean, I don't get it. It's just noise. And that dentist's office music, now that's boring. So I'm dialing around on the radio, and I found a station that I really liked. And guess what? It's country. Boy, have I changed. Boy, has country music changed.
Discover the new country music on K102 FM.
Ember's $1.99 jumbo breakfast. 2 farm fresh eggs, 2 buttermilk pancakes, 2 country sausage links, and 2 strips of hardwood cured bacon, only $1.99. Ember's, big taste, small check.
Suburban Chanhassen, Minnesota may soon become world famous for music and video.
It is the site of Prince's Paisley Park Media Complex, where homegrown music is being made in 3 recording studios, and where feature films and music videos are being made in a giant sound stage. Well, tonight they held a VIP dinner for local producers, and they showed off some of the latest state-of-the-art gear that's being used there. Daryl Savage reports.
The champagne was flowing tonight in a Paisley Park soundstage. Officially, it was a VIP party for entertainment producers and artists. Unofficially, it was a coming-out party for one of the most high-tech recording studios in the world. The Minneapolis-based group Spirit entertained tonight, putting on a show in a facility that could make their musical careers more successful.
Well, it's been really great for us, especially with Minneapolis now being the center for music. In the past, it's been a matter of having to go to L.A. in order to even think about making it musically. But
in recent years, the coast has had nothing bigger than the music boom in the Twin Cities. 1984's hit Purple Rain highlighted many of the area's top performers. Jimmy Jam Harris and Terry Lewis dominated the Grammys like no one had before. Even the family group The Jets has taken off recently in popularity. The producer of their video sees an even brighter future ahead.
So we've shot one video here. It's offered us anything that LA or New York has. It's probably the finest soundstage in the country right now.
The studios at Paisley Park are state-of-the-art. The setup will accommodate motion picture filming and production of commercials in addition to music recordings. Today, a trade show inside the studio featured some of the world's newest and best production equipment, and seminars gave people a chance to try some of the instruments out. Of course, those people who've been playing for a while now know a good musical reputation in the Twin Cities leads to more good musicians.
Well, I don't really think it's a coincidence. For many years, there's been quite a bit of talent in Minneapolis, and at the same time, it does bring in new talent.
And for talented artists like the owner of the studios, that can only mean good news for Minnesota and its music lovers. Daryl Savage, WCCO Television News, Chanhassen.
That trade show continues tomorrow from 10 to 6, but they tell us the exhibit is strictly invitation only. The Guardian Angels are looking fondly toward St. Paul, and if you believe their numbers, St. Paul is looking fondly toward them. The Angels are passing out surveys in the downtown area to see if people would like them to set up shop there. So far, sentiment is running 30-1 in their favor. Leaders of the street crime fighting group admit that many who don't like them simply won't stop to fill out their questionnaire. But they feel the figures are impressive nonetheless.
A brush with death for 3 people this afternoon when their cars collided in a spectacular accident just north of downtown Minneapolis on I-35. Police tell us that seat belts prevented any serious injuries, though they did have to free one man from his wreckage, but he wasn't hurt. In California tonight, officials are saying the damage from that big earthquake will total $75 million. The quake on Thursday hit suburban Whittier near Los Angeles the hardest, heavily damaging a $27 million downtown redevelopment project. But the mayor says it'll be rebuilt.
Whittier has the kind of people that will overcome this tragedy, and it is a tragedy.
A special earthquake counseling center in Whittier has been averaging 130 people a day, an indication that the quake rattled more than just buildings. Hundreds of residents are only now returning to their homes. Scores of Iranian speedboats are darting about the Persian Gulf tonight, but U.S. warships are keeping them under surveillance.
Iranian warship, this is U.S. warship. Your fire control radar is locked on the U.S. warship. Secure it immediately. This is your only warning.
The speedboats, manned by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, are believed responsible for attacks on neutral tankers in the Gulf. After their initial reports of the sightings, the USS LaSalle rushed to the northern part of the Gulf. Also today, an Australian shrimp boat was towed to port. An Iraqi missile hit the boat, killing the captain. The boat was harvesting shrimp under contract with Iran.
Massive floods have struck South Africa, and the black residents of the Durban region are feeling the brunt. The floods are being called the worst natural disaster in that country's history. At least 250 people are believed to have died. Another 86 are missing. More than 50,000 are homeless. Many of the victims are blacks who had lived in shanty towns on the edge of Durban. Ironically, the rains have left a severe shortage of sanitary drinking water.
This seems to be the year we're setting a lot of weather records. Another one overnight.
Yeah, we had record lows here in the Twin Cities, but recovered very quickly today. In fact, we're going to enjoy the second half of a super weekend coming up tomorrow. Get out and enjoy it.
Hello, Highland Service. Do you think you could help me?
320 Maple Street. Let's roll.
If you ever need service on something you bought from Highland Appliance, Highland will be there fast, no matter what. With their own servicemen, trained, skilled, and fearless.
Highland Service, ma'am.
Thanks for getting here so fast.
Hey, no problem.
Highland's own expert service department will be there fast, no matter what.
Are the new imports looking alike to you? There is a difference, and Mitsubishi makes it. For example, the 88 Mitsubishi Mighty Max beats out Mazda in both standard features and price. The all-new Mighty Max Macro Cab has the largest base engine in the extended cab class, but it's priced lower than Toyota or Nissan. Other imports just can't stand up to the exceptional value of Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice in trucks at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
These Twin City residents influence what you can buy, what ads you see on television, and even what you hear on the radio. But why do national advertisers put so much faith in the opinions of Minnesotans? A special cover story Tuesday on the 10 p.m. report. The traditional rites of fall, football games, pep rallies, and high school homecomings. Wednesday, find out how this American tradition has kept pace with the times. 2 special cover stories beginning Tuesday on the 10 p.m. report, Channel 4.
Move over, thoroughbreds. We want to introduce you folks to a new kind of racing, pig races. Today, Riverfest pulled out all the stops and held a pig race as part of Oktoberfest. Porkers pounded the turf at a walloping 15 miles an hour to bring home the bacon. And in this case, a treat at the end of the race course. To the winners go Oreo cookies. To the losers, a rib roast. River Place promises more pig races to come in the weeks ahead.
Canterbury's had kind of a tough year. What do you think? They could change that course around a little bit?
Yeah.
Have pig races?
Pig races, sure. Kind of a novelty. But
Oreo cookies instead of prize money?
Bet you couldn't find a parking place within 50 blocks of that place. Little curls. Little girls have little... They might have to get the curls in the tails, I guess, with the Oreo... Never mind.
Never mind.
Right. Hey, we have had a beautiful, beautiful day today, and it's going to continue right into tomorrow. But look what we did to you last night. We promised you a freeze, and we delivered. Record lows all the way down into Iowa. We ended up with 29 degrees here in the Twin Cities. That's not a record low going back into the Pioneer records, but that's a modern-day record low temperature here for the Twin Cities. And even though we didn't put them all on, they extend all the way down into parts of, believe it or not, Alabama last night with record low temperatures. Very, very cold throughout all of the nation's midsection. 62 is what we reached for a high today, 29 for a low. Look at that, though. Back in 1840, we were as cold as 25 degrees on this date. No precipitation. Sun will come up in the morning at 7:13 and then set tomorrow night at 6:51. We were experiencing record lows over us. Well, all that cold air is going to slip to the east with frost and freeze warnings all the way from Alabama, all the way up into the northern Appalachians. And look at the record low for the country, or the overnight low, 17 at Gunnison, Colorado. But then look what happened out in California. Los Angeles, 108 degrees today. Down in San Diego, 104. Monrovia, California, the nation's hotspot with 110 degrees. Record highs, record lows, crazy weather. This is why, look at all the heat down out in the west. Some of that's going to push into us tomorrow. We're going to get into the mid to upper 70s here. Maybe some areas of western Minnesota could even see some temperatures in the 80s. That after a record cold low last night, and all that cold air is pushing eastward, and it'll be this part of the country that's going to experience the record lows for tomorrow morning. Well, our satellite picture shows the cloud cover that we had moving off the east. In fact, the only place reporting any precipitation is back in New England. Clear skies over most of the country, and it was, of course, the sunny skies in the southwest that boosted them up into those record high readings of over 100 degrees today. Look at that. A little bit of shower activity just off the coast of New England, some down off Florida, but all the rest of the country reporting dry conditions right now. It's kind of unusual for us. Tomorrow's weather map, we'll be in the warm sector. There's going to be a warm front that has moved through us. Southerly winds will kick our temperatures up into the mid to upper 70s, but cold front by tomorrow afternoon is going to do about the same thing to us that one coming in Thursday night did, and that is very, very windy conditions by tomorrow night and into Monday, and our temperatures will only climb up into the high 50s, low 60s by Monday. So it's going to be a repeat performance of what we had late last week. High temperatures for tomorrow, 60s, 50s, 40s off the east, 70s and 80s over us, so get out and enjoy tomorrow. It's going to be a nice day. Winds, though, will be picking up in the afternoon, up around 25 miles an hour at times. So, beautiful evening out there tonight. The winds have died down. In fact, we only have winds now out of the south at 12. Clear skies, temperature 49 degrees, humidity 42%, a dew point of 27, and the barometer is 30.13 and is falling. Tonight, then, forecast, clear. Warmer than last night, 47 degrees for an overnight low with south winds at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, almost hot, 78 degrees with southwest winds at 15 to 25 under clear to partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow night, variable clouds, windy, 48 degrees, and then on Monday, only going to get up to around 60 degrees, very windy, colder. We should see wind gusts between 20 and 40 miles an hour again on Monday, about like we had overnight Thursday night and Friday. The extended outlook keeps us clear to partly cloudy. High temperatures will recover after another little dip down Monday and Tuesday, back into the mid-60s by the end of the week, overnight lows in the 30s and 40s.
Now, I want to make sure I'm absolutely, positively correct. We can call this Indian summer now because we've had that so-called hard freeze.
You would have to bring that up, wouldn't you? There's some people that think that Indian summer is reserved for a period of time that occurs late in the autumn, maybe even into early winter, which would really take it into the end of October and November. But officially, yeah, after the first freeze, you can call it Indian summer, but we'll get a lot of letters if we do. So.
Right to Mike. Pro football returns to the Metrodome tomorrow. It'll be the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers, or reasonable facsimiles thereof. And because of the players' strike, the dome is expected to be half empty. Some 30,000 fans have turned in their tickets and gotten their money back, including these folks you see from this morning's last-minute rush. Surprisingly enough, close to 200 people have actually bought tickets to the game.
So a lot of people have come up, and you know, the ones that I've sold tickets to say they're buying tickets because they know they'll never get a better seat for a Green Bay Packer game than they can this week.
Most of the fans we talk with are not taking sides in the strike. They just wish it would be over.
Don't we all? Well, no problem like that in college football. The Gophers now 4-0.
The only problem was the scare the Boilermakers threw into the Gopher fans tonight. We'll show you. The Gophers came out on top. Don't go in.
It's a dream come true for the players, the fans, those twins, best of the West. Join me, Mark Rosen, at their victorious homecoming, and we'll take a look at baseball destiny, twin style. Then it's a football dream come true. These players have practiced all week to be Vikings. Their chance, a result of the nightmarish NFL strike. What do the striking Vikes have to say? Find out on Rosen Sports Sunday, Sunday night at 10:35 on WCCO Television, Channel 4.
Pat Miles, former marathon runner, joins the WCCO sports team for a great race.
From Minneapolis to St. Paul, 6,000 strong will pursue their individual goals, achieve new records, and finish the most beautiful urban marathons in the country. I'm WCCO Television's Pat Miles, inviting you to share, to support, to celebrate the marathon spirit that brings the Twin Cities together.
Join Pillsbury, a major sponsor of the Twin Cities Marathon, October 11th.
Believe me, you could hear a collected whew in the Metrodome after tonight's 21-19 Gophers win over Purdue in that Big Ten opener. Purdue scored on its opening possession, and then the option used perfection, knotted the score. Darrell Thompson trotted in from the 6-yard line there. Thompson surpassed 100 yards for the third time this season. The Gophers have a new spark plug this season. Chris Gators found the opening on this punt return, and he didn't stop until he had burned up some 50 yards of artificial turf. Watch this. Gators, a sophomore, set up a Ricky Foggy TD for a 14-7 second quarter lead. That young man is exciting to watch. Late in the half, Foggy didn't need anything but his sweet feet. Watch the recovery he makes when he's hit in midair during a hurdle. A 25-yard touchdown gave the Gophers a 21-10 lead, which held up barely. The Boilermakers were cooking and narrowed the gap to 2 points. Then the Gophers' defense took over. John Leverins was incredible. A sack tonight, interception, fumble recovery, 17 tackles. The final nail in the coffin was an overthrown pass by Doug Downing. With about a minute and a half left, Warren Berry grabbed his second interception of the game to seal the fate of the Boilermakers. The Gophers are 4-0 overall. They take the show on the road to Northwestern next Saturday. Well, if you missed the Twins game tonight, you didn't miss much. The Royals handed the Twins their 4th straight loss in a meaningless game with a final score of 4-2. There were some exciting moments, mainly because of the bat and the speed of the Royals' Danny Tartable. Danny can put him out of the ballpark, but he didn't have to here. Watch him make it all the way home. He raced around the base paths for an inside-the-park homer and a close play at home. Watch it, but he makes it. A big play. A big scare, too. The big score of the night, or big scare, I should say, comes right here. Watch. A ground ball, a double play, and Puckett goes down. Yeah, breathe a sigh of relief. He's okay. He went on to play the rest of the game. First baseman George Brett, though, had to come out because the collision caused a bruised Achilles. Tom Bernansky made it 4-2 with a solo shot, but it wasn't enough. The Royals win it. The Twins will try to salvage a win in the final game of the regular season tomorrow. Well, the Twins will be pulling for the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow so they can force a playoff game Monday in Detroit. Today, the Tigers took a 1-game lead in the East with 1 game to go. Detroit knotted the score at 2 in the 5th inning on a run-scoring double by Mike Heath, his second of the game. Tom Brookins, who reached on an error by Manny Lee, scored the unearned run. The Blue Jays could not come back against Jack Morris. The Tigers' ace went 9 innings. This strikeout ended the 9th inning. Morris was relieved then by Mike Henneman, who picked up the win. A great job by Jack Morris, who loved to pitch a playoff game in the Dome. You can bet on that. Morris and the Tigers have to tip their hats to Jays starter Mike Flanagan. He struck out 9, including Alan Trammell, in his 11 innings on the mound. However, with Mark Eichhorn on the mound, Trammell got revenge with 2 outs, bases loaded in the 12th.
Wrapped to short and through Manny Lee's legs. That's it.
Shortstop Manny Lee of the Blue Jays is filling in for the injured All-Star Tony Fernandez, who is out for the season. The Jays have now lost 6 straight, and the last 6 meetings between these two teams have been decided by 1 run. What a series. Well, let's get back to football, shall we? Earlier, we showed you how Purdue and the Gophers opened their Big Ten season. In Iowa, the Hawkeyes used a pair of touchdown passes from quarterback Dan McGuire for a 14-7 halftime lead over Michigan State, the underdogs. McGuire to Quinn early for 1 TD at Iowa City. The 17th-ranked Hawkeyes, though, couldn't stop Bobby McAllister when they had to. His only completion of the second half was a game-winning touchdown, and the Spartans went on to a 19-14 upset of Iowa. Let's take a look now at all the Big Ten scores. Ohio State just got by Illinois. It was Michigan trouncing Wisconsin. Michigan State over Iowa, as we told you, and Indiana no trouble with Northwestern. Vinny who? That's what they're probably saying in Miami, thanks to a young man named Steve Walsh. The junior from St. Paul ignited a second-half comeback with 3 touchdowns in the second half. Walsh put the Hurricanes ahead 26-19 over 4th-ranked Florida with a 73-yard bomb to Michael Irvin. Miami overcame a 19-3 deficit behind the arm of Walsh, a Cretan High School grad. Danny McManus to Danny Lewis narrowed the gap to 1 point with 42 seconds left, but the Seminoles then missed a 2-point conversion. Here are some scores of the top 20 teams. Look at what Oklahoma did to Iowa State. Nebraska beat South Carolina. Miami again just got by Florida. Auburn 20, North Carolina 10. LSU upset Florida, and Tennessee beat California. In local college scores, Gustavus tops St. Olaf 21-10. Concordia bombed Augsburg. Hamlin over St. Thomas. St. John 62, Bethel 9, Carleton 42, and McAllister 34. In high school, Park Center has taken over the Lake Red Conference lead. This pitch out from Dan Autry to Mark Lundborg worked to perfection thanks to a block by running back Dan Reha. The Pirates shut out Burnsville 10-zip. Unbeaten Park Center could likely be #1 in the state as well because, take a look at these scores. Top-ranked Apple Valley upset by Jefferson, 15-7. It was Rosemont beating Osseo 9-7. Wayzata over Cooper, 10-7. St. Louis Park got by Minnetonka. Eden Prairie beat Hopkins 9-3, and Cretan topped Johnson 30-12. Well, duck hunters filled the lakes and blinds today as the season kicked off at its traditional noon starting time. Reports so far say it's a down year. Last year, the ducks flew in the flyways in the northern section of the state, with many hunters bagging legal limits. This year, our own Ralph John Fritz found it a bit quieter. Ralph was joined by Mike Max and Dave Cheswold this afternoon. Now, this year's hunt was highlighted by a picnic. An unusually low rain total has left many areas dried out and uninhabited by waterfowl. Ralph's crew found what looked to be a dandy spot, a pothole in the rice paddies near McGregor, Minnesota. But unfortunately for the hunters, the sun shone brightly over the waters, far from the ideal climate for hunting ducks. Nonetheless, the troops loaded up for what they hoped to be a successful excursion, but no such luck. Even Ralph, with that duck call, couldn't bring the feathered friends in. But don't feel sorry for this crew. You can bet they had a good time today. And I'll tell you what, it beats working for a living, folks. The 5th race today at Canterbury Downs. It was a mere 5.5 furlongs, but a great one. Cindy's host the winner there over Goratz by a nose and paid something like $7.40. Here it is. They went nose to nose all the way, practically from start to finish. Doesn't take long to run 5.5 furlongs, but look at the race these two put up. Goratz and Cindy's host. Cindy's host, as you'll see, just puts the snout out there for the win.
Okay, very good, Tony. And we might mention we'll have a live report on Channel 4 tomorrow night when the Twins arrive back at Twin Cities International Airport.
Right.
So you might look for that. And coming up next, we'll have an anniversary of the space race.
And in New Mexico, hundreds of hot air balloons danced along the clouds today. We'll tell you why.
Hi, I'm John Gordon. Catch Twins Mania all the way to the World Series on WCCO Radio AM 830.
Waikiki, the Halakalani Hotel, a tradition of luxury. Now recreated in Hawaii's newest resort, the Waikiki Park, developed by the Halakalani Corporation. WCCO Travel and ITA now offer an exclusive vacation that features round-trip airfare to Honolulu, non-stop on a Pan Am 747, and 7 nights at the Waikiki Park. Departures every Tuesday starting January 26th through March 29th. $799. Unbelievable. Call 921-3559.
Hey, Star Search 88 is really happening this week, so get ready to watch and enjoy some fun dancing. And then go star searching for some great singing. And some great Star Search comedy. It's the new Star Search season, and the new stars are starting to shine, so make Star Search your family hour of entertainment this week. Star Search 88. You're gonna love it.
Saturday night at 11:05 on Channel 4.
Come tomorrow, the space race will be 30 years old, sparked by the launch of Russia's Sputnik in October 4th of 1957. It was the first man-made object to be put in orbit around the Earth, and it embarrassed the U.S. in its still Earthbound program. But we didn't get mad, we got even by putting the first men on the moon just 12 years after Sputnik.
And there was another type of takeoff today in Albuquerque. The 16th annual Balloon Fiesta got underway, and it was truly a spectacular sight. There's more than 500 hot air balloons defied the laws of gravity and floated in the southwestern skies. 175,000 spectators showed up at the fiesta to look at these scenes firsthand. It's what's called a mass ascension. The Balloon Fiesta continues throughout this week. It is the largest event of its kind in the nation. Happy landings to one and all. Beautiful sight.
They put on quite a show down in Indianola, Iowa each
Yes,
year.
they do. It's another fine balloon race, too.
Let's look at the weather for tomorrow. Breezy, sunshine, and a high of 78. Enjoy the day.
Even applied to the marriage of meat and fun.
You can cut